It's so fun how authentic people become when they realize you've overcame something. Like all of a sudden you realize no one's life is perfect and everyone's trying to do the best that they can do. I don't care where they're at financially or like how many kids or if they're married or whatnot. Like no one has it perfect. We're all trying to do the best. And it's been so nice to have real conversations with people and people being able to let down their guard.
Welcome to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. LaChelle Wieme, a peak performance coach and business strategist dedicated to helping you see what's possible within you, the blind spots that are holding you back, and the solutions to ensure success and fulfillment without the hustle. I use my secret sauce of metaphysics, brain science, and scripture to work with God to manifest your ideal life and business. If you're ready to create massive forward momentum in your business and bust through the blocks that drag you down, join me on the Spiral Up journey and create the clarity, confidence, and consistency to become the CEO that lives your life by design. It's time to create the sustainable impact, income, and time freedom you desire faster. Now is the time to spiral up.
Hey friends, welcome back to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. LaChelle Wieme, and you guys are in for a treat today. We get a chance to have a conversation, a real candid, beautiful conversation with one of my dear friends, Alli Vaith. You guys, she is a rock star realtor who has been such an inspiration to me. Alli, you are so good at what you do, and you are a master at just building relationships and community and connecting people. It just is so natural for you. And then I'm just going to give you a little kudos because there was a hot minute where I was ready to jump ship and move and buy a different house. And Alli was the person that I called, and you came over and you were so professional and you brought in all of these beautiful, like above and beyond resources, right? Like that really took the whole experience to the next level, and have always been the person that is there when I call, and I see you as somebody that watches and how attentive you are to your clients and stuff. That I just wanted to say like how stinking proud I am to be your friend, first of all.
Thank you. It's an honor to align with you when I get the opportunity.
And so, Alli, I would love for you to give us a snapshot of you as a realtor. Tell us a little bit more about how you show up in the world, who you love to serve, and it's okay to brag on yourself a little bit, sister. Like, what makes you stand out?
So, funny story, I just found out that technically I am a third generation realtor when I've always just thought that I was a second generation realtor.
Okay.
But I'm still going to roll with second generation because apparently my grandfather was not too active in it. So I grew up as a young girl learning all about picking up keys, looking at houses. So I loved to play with Barbies when I was little and design houses. Like that's all that I did. And so it was a natural fit that when I finally graduated from college, my dad said, don't go into real estate. And I went into real estate anyway. Sorry, Dad. So now I am 12 years in full time and it is a blast. I get to connect amazing people in our community with cool houses that just elevate their lifestyle. And I think that's really what I want for everyone when they purchase their home is to elevate their lifestyle.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And you started your career actually in Austin, Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was so fun.
And you were a rock star when it came to, you grew your business very quickly there and you became very successful right out of college in Austin. And then you decided to move to Rochester, Minnesota, which I'm so grateful that you did.
Yeah, thanks. It was quite an adjustment, lifestyle change, but it's been a good adjustment. I'm originally from Iowa, so don't think like, oh, we went from Texas.
Why would you move from Austin
I'm
to
very aware of the Midwest.
No, I love it. And I'm so grateful. We met actually at a conference that we were both attending of women in faith networking. And it's a funny long story that we won't get into today, but I'm just so grateful that I got a chance to meet you and get to know you. And at one point, I'm just going to brag on you because you're super humble, but at one point, like there were billboards of Alli, and she was voted one of the best realtors in the area. And this is just just goes to show just how, I don't know the word I'm looking for, dedicated, and really just how much you live, eat, and breathe real estate, and how much you absolutely, it just is who you are.
Yeah. Can I squirrel just for a moment?
Yeah.
Yeah, squirrel running outside. So I was just creating a post a minute ago, and it was about like how I transitioned between being a mom and being a realtor. And it's not like you really transition, it's just like you're both at the same time all the time.
Yeah.
And I was laughing because if people knew how many times I was hiding in my walk-in closet with the door locked, like giving people real estate advice, because I can turn that on very easily. And then
Yeah.
there's kids banging at the door, like asking for mom, but I'm like, I'm on the phone with someone that needs my guidance. It's just like, it's so fun how you can do both at the same time.
Yeah, which is exactly why I wanted you to be on this show, honestly. One of the reasons, because obviously I just adore you. And I think that you do bring this element of professionalism to what you do. And when I've watched you with people, like you said, you elevate their life. So you take a family that's been in their starter home and you bring them into a house that they've once outgrown into one that is going to work with them, right? You help people live the next stage of their dreams, and you do so in a way that eliminates overwhelm, eliminates stress, because you're so organized and professional that you have all of these pieces essentially ready to go for them.
Yeah, and I think that it's really what?
No, to go, keep going.
Oh, I just think it's interesting because you buy this first home just when you're like, okay, I can make this work. But then all
Yeah.
of a sudden your life evolves and your capacities grow.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so all of a sudden you're like, I have different expectations for myself. And maybe
Yes.
there's more people in your house, or maybe you got a different job and you're just like, I can do more. I want a different life. I don't want to be in my starter home. I want to be in something better that is a complement to
Yes.
what I
Yes.
want for my life.
And I guess like where I wanted to go in this conversation next is to really just highlight the other version of Alli, the one that's in her pantry with the door closed. Because again, I'm going to keep coming back to this, that the image that I get from the end user as a client or watching you with clients is so unbelievably polished and professional. And you have this whole nother life that you're navigating. And the fact that you're able to do both so well, Alli, is really an inspiration. And so I want people to get to know the other version of Alli, because what you guys get to experience when you listen to her is that we all can get into these places where we realize that life is hard or that we have a lot to juggle, and we could easily just give ourselves a bunch of excuses. But Alli is like the most non-excuse taker person I've met. We totally relate to that. We both are like that. And it's just, she just shows, not by talking, but by doing, that she's like, no excuses. I can do both, and I can do it both. So tell us a little bit about the other Alli, the version of you that's at home.
I am happy to share anything about myself except for just don't get in my car. I would just open my car. I was like, there is Pringles everywhere in the back seat. Funny story. So to mimic what you were sharing is about 2 years ago, I could have easily thrown in the towel and quit life. And I think my mom, even to this day, is, you can move back in with me. And I was like, no, mom, that really wasn't an option. 2 years ago, my life had a reset. I had my third son and just envisioned my life going a lot differently. And I don't know if we want to go into that, but
you know what? Let's go into whatever you think that the audience could be blessed by. Let's just let that guide you. So if there's a part of your story that you think could really inspire somebody, I want you to go ahead and share it.
My kids' dad is a wonderful human, but addiction is a very big issue that actually, unfortunately, is in his lineage. So it's just kind of something that grabbed him and took him full force. And he went for recovery for a long time, for a year. So I had these 2 boys for this year that I was already taking care of them myself. And then after recovery, we had our 3rd child, and he came back, and it was really hard for him to transition back from recovery. And we just had to make this decision where we were just butting heads because we just weren't in alignment. There's just like a lot going on. And so anyways, we have this 3rd child to the point that I had to be self-sufficient and drive myself to the hospital in full-on labor. I just had to either decide, like, I'm going to keep moving forward in life, or I was just going to keep progressing back in a bad direction. And by bad, just like a dark depression. I just was really frustrated because I had been taking care of these 2 kids on my own, and I was ready to have my cheerleader back, but that's not what presented itself. And so all of a sudden I had 3 kids, and it was like, okay, you either go down this dark depression or you find your way out of it and you just get to work. And what I ended up doing was moving my boys, and I got my house ready for sale, which was like this beautiful home in this nice neighborhood, but it was 25 minutes away from our daycare center and the school that my kids are going to. And so it's just like, I needed to be closer to our life. Yes. And not driving so much. And so it's just like, I was in this really dark spot. And then I said, okay, nope, can't do this anymore. I can't hold on for dear life because it's not serving anyone. It's actually just causing mass chaos. So I think that my piece of advice out of that whole process was let go and let God, because by holding on for dear life, I don't know if you've seen that picture of someone holding onto the rope, but their hands are like bleeding because they're holding on so tight. And it's just, that's what I was doing for so long, for like several years. I kept trying to hold life together, and it was no longer serving anyone. That was not my kids, not myself, not their dad. Like, it wasn't serving any of our family members to our best capacity. So anyways, Dad moved out. He just restarted his life in a different direction. We sold our house, and then I moved my boys and I closer to my, like, not safe zone, but people that support me. I moved closer to my friends. So now I'm in a neighborhood. I'm literally a block away from our daycare center. I'm 2 blocks away from our school, and then a block away from close friends that help me with my boys.
Yeah. That decision, I watched you walked alongside of you during those places. And I'm sure that there was a part of you that held on to what you're talking about, like holding on to the rope. It was holding on to this ideal of what you thought your life was going to look like.
And I think I still struggle with that. Like, I still have this dream of like, oh, I still want my family to go to this lake house that we have together, and Dad teaches the boys how to water ski or snow ski, and maybe he still will, but it's just more like in letting go of what my dream of what I wanted for my family was, and just being okay with it.
And I think though that, like, what you're describing, it seems like trying to almost like force the expression of what this dream life was supposed to be like. But in the meantime, like you said, your hands were holding onto the ropes, just raw, because even though the idea was beautiful, the actual life that you were living day to day, trying to force that, was miserable.
I prefer not to look back at.
I know, right? And so it's like you trying to, even though, how can I put this? Like, the kid's dad, like, you loved him and you knew what he was capable of. But we can't want something for somebody more than they want it for themselves. So there's lots of like good intentioned ideals of what this could look like, but it was painful to try to force something outside of you to fit into this box.
And I think that's so powerful. Like, even as little kids, we have to learn we are not responsible for anyone else but ourselves.
Yeah.
And as an adult, it's just like more enforced in your face every day.
Yeah. And it was like, once you, like you said, made that decision of letting go of trying to force something into an ideal that you thought it was going to be, like, you're happier now than you ever were from my perspective when you were trying to navigate all of that. Like you just seem so, I don't know, free and happy and less stress and pressure.
Yeah, there's different stresses, but it's fun. Like I just get to make decisions for my kids and I just get to do real estate. And then when I show houses at night, I just call my babysitters that I have on call. And I just thank you, God, for giving me a whole bunch of people to show up for me and my kids. And it's just like we live in this small community where everyone watches out for one another. And I just feel so blessed. Like I had to go through that hard time to find a different kind of peace that I wasn't envisioning.
Yeah. And I think that as somebody that I've always watched you as somebody who is so strong, like Alli said, you guys, like she literally drove herself to the hospital in labor and that baby came out really fast. Like it was a good thing that you got to the hospital when you did, right?
It was.
And it's like, that's who Alli is. Like she's strong. She's going to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And what's so cool is to watch you also allow yourself to be somebody that is not only the person that connects other people and is a supporter, but to be supported and allow yourself to be supported by people who love you and care about you.
And I think that was hard for me to be like, even last Wednesday, one of my dear friends has been taking my oldest son to basketball on Wednesday nights just to let me put the baby to bed. And so even then I'm like, oh, I feel like I should go. But then I'm like, nope, I'm going to let her do that because it's not out of her way and she wants to.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about that, because as somebody who has always been very independent, like I'm choosing to do this and I got this and all the things. And now you are a single mom of 3 little kids, right? Yeah. And your oldest is how old? Just for people to 8. Give you some perspective.
She just turned 8.
8 years old, right? So her oldest is 8. So 3 boys. So beautiful, by the way. And here you are, like in a demanding career that is not just Monday through Friday, 7 to 3, right? Like you show up in this way. That's why I wanted to start this conversation with that, to give you guys this like version of Alli that we get to see. And somehow you're able to do that and navigate this as a single mom. And so I want to just hear from you on what are some of the things that have really helped you to be able to navigate all of this. And I think that what I love about you too is your authenticity and your vulnerability and allowing people to just be like, this is real life, right? What advice or inspiration can you give to somebody who's, I don't know how I can make it all work?
Yeah, I just think Mel Robbins, she'll say, no one's showing up. No one is doing it for you. Maybe that's not how she says it, but it's basically like you can have supporters and cheerleaders, but you're the only one that can turn the page. And I have faith that God is putting me through hard times to get to better times. And so I think faith was a really big one for me. But then like really leaning into the people that genuinely love you and encourage you. So if you are having a downtime or you're like, why is this happening? I can reach out to you, or other great friends of mine like Camille and Angie. And it's just, I just have wonderful people in my life. And so you always have people in your circle that are ready to show up for you. You just have to be willing to accept it.
Yes. What would you say to the mom who is, this is just hard. It's hard because I'm having to do this all by myself. Mm-hmm. What do you have to say to her?
Yeah, it is hard, but you're a badass. You can do it.
Yes.
And then it's so funny, like the days that I'm like, oh, like my countertop is messy. I have loads of laundry to do. And then I'm like, okay, you can only eat an elephant 1 bite at a time. So I'm like, I'm going to do a full load of laundry every day. And so it's just like, I really have to break things into smaller pieces for myself. And then I love coffee. So as much coffee as I can drink during the day is my treat to myself. But it's just like, I do like what is important to me is to show up for my kids and for them to know that someone is there rooting for them all the time. And so it's, yes, they have babysitters sometime at night, but they know that mom's going to give them dinner. Like they know that they have a foundation with me and that I'm always going to show up for them.
Yes. I've navigated that myself, right? That I have seasons where I will travel and go back to our hometown to help out the anesthesia department for a few days or go on one of my retreats. And I think like you, I've had to make a point that when I'm home, I do the best I can to be present and have quality time with them when I can, so that when I'm gone, that it's not a quantity over quality thing. It's how could I make the most with what I have from where I am. And
100%.
but sometimes I'm having a bad day or you're having a bad day and I don't give them my best, but I think on a whole, I think that they know that I love them, that I'm trying my best to make them know that when I'm there, that they've got me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that one of the things too that makes you special when it comes to real estate is that you can relate to the moms who have outgrown their starter home, that they're pregnant with their third kid. And they're like, how in the heck am I going to do this? And you're like, I got you, sister. I'm not some stuffy dude in a corner office, like wondering why you can't get your shit together. Like you're like in the trenches with them.
It's so fun how authentic people become when they realize you've overcame something. Like all of a sudden you realize no one's life is perfect and everyone's trying to do the best that they can do. I don't care where they're at financially or like how many kids or if they're married or whatnot. Like no one has it perfect.
Nope.
We're all just trying to do the best. And it's been so nice to have real conversations with people and people being able to let down their guard. Hey, I'm really frustrated that I keep moving toys from room A to room B, but I really don't want to give up my 3% interest rate. Like, how can we make this make sense? And it's just like, okay, let's reevaluate. Let's look at how much your house is worth. Let's find how much money is the market saying that your house is worth? How much is a buyer willing to pay? Let's take your net proceeds of 100,000. Let's put it towards this other house. And then we have maybe $1,000 more in a mortgage payment. But all of a sudden you don't want to kill your significant other anymore because you're not overwhelmed with clutter and each of your kids has their own bedrooms. And it's just like, there are opportunities. You just have to trust your realtor or your financial advisor, or just trust people that are in your corner to say, hey, let's really look at this. What does your life look like for the next 5 to 7 years? Because that's ideally how long you should stay in a house to really be able to at least net some money in our area. And so it's have a conversation. Just because you're having a conversation doesn't mean you have to sell your house tomorrow. It's just like, let's pretend, let's play Barbie, let's play dress up. What does this dream house look like?
What is possible with somebody that actually has a real finger on the pulse of what's going on, and just having a conversation with somebody and be like, I don't even know if this is possible, but can you look at my situation and tell me if there is any hope here? And that's what you do.
And the thing is, I'll be honest with people, like when you were going to move, I'm like, let's really evaluate this situation and does it align with the lifestyle that you want for your family? And honestly, I was talking you out of it because I don't want people to just uproot. I'm going to be honest. Like I've probably had 2 or 3 listing appointments in the last year that I'm like, you should not move. It just doesn't financially make sense. And I'll be honest about that. But then I'm like, you know what? If the opportunity is there, let's build, or I'm always finding solutions for people. And I not only do I love connecting people with other people, but I also love finding solutions.
Yes, I know we geek out. Both of us geek out in both of those things. I think that's why we're so close. But Alli, I'm curious. You mentioned it's amazing at what people will do to open up and have that authenticity and vulnerability if you give them this like sense that they're not alone and that you also understand what they're going through. I'm curious as a professional. I think that some of us have been in this place where it's I can't let people into that party because they're going to think that I'm not Like, do you know what I'm saying? Has that ever been something that you've gone through? And if so, like, how did you navigate
All
that?
the time. So I just giggled a little bit because last week I was at a client's house and their kids had colored all over the walls with marker and crayon. And then they tried to scrub it off with magic marker. And then they didn't have any extra paint. Anyways, I'm giggling because then I went home and I took a picture of the crayon that was on my wall that I tried to get the magic eraser off on. And it's just, you know what? No one's house is perfect, especially like when you're just having a conversation with the realtor. So it's like, I'm never judging you by if your house is messy when I'm going in to give you an evaluation of what your house could sell for, because I know that we will work together and I'll find you a cleaner, I'll find you a painter, we'll declutter. It's just like, we'll stage. Like I'm not judging you because I live too. And I have 3 boys and I no longer care about nice furniture because I know that it's not real right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want people to, when you move into a house, it's probably the most money you're going to spend on something. And I want you to really enjoy and live where you're living. Like, if you want to go buy a mansion and have it be perfect, great. But if you want to go live and you have little kids, like, just be kind to yourself. And I'm never passing judgment because I've seen a lot.
So was that hard for you though, because I see you as like now the 3rd generation realtor. So, and you mentioned Barbie, like I'm like, realtor Barbie is Alli Vaith with her cute little suit and all of the.
That's how I was before I had kids. Then I had kids and I was like, oh, never mind.
And so was that hard for you though? Like for really?
Yes, it was very hard for me. And that's something you actually really coached me through, was like, your authenticity is way more important. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because I was very scared to be authentic.
And tell me about that fear. Like, what was going on inside of your head when you're like, I don't want anybody to know about my hot mess express that's going on in my house right now? What was going on in your head?
I just always felt like I should be perfect, and I'm not sure why, and I don't actually know what perfect looks like, but I always felt going into my grandma Vaith's house when I was a little girl, like, she had 7 kids, but her house was always mint condition. Same with my dad. Like, my dad is a neat freak. My mom's kind of a neat freak. I just grew up with realtor parents. Both of my parents are realtors. And so it's just like, we didn't have dogs in our house when we were little because they're like, oh, dogs are messy. So then when I became an adult, I'm like, oh, I want a dog. But anyways, it was just like, okay, that is real. Like, people actually live in their houses. And I'm so grateful for you teaching me to let go and let my guard down, because it's not normal to walk around in white skinny jeans with a 2-year-old and think you're not going to get chocolate all over your pants. You know what I mean?
That's just amazing, the pressure that we put on ourselves to try to fit into, and even going back to the ideal that you had for your life and all the things. Like, when we do this to ourselves, sometimes we put ourselves in our own pressure cookers, and we're the ones who are putting all of this pressure on ourselves. And so tell me about your interaction with clients once you started to really embrace your vulnerability, your authenticity. Tell me about what you noticed in business.
It's fun because when someone will call me and say, hey, I'm ready to put my house on the market, I'm like, okay, great. Don't clean your house. Do not stress about cleaning your house. I'm just going to come over and take some notes, and we're just going to have a conversation. Like, we're going to get to know each other, and I want you to be able to trust me, and I want you to be like, hey, I'm really struggling with this one issue and I want to solve it for you, because you don't have to solve it alone. Mm-hmm. I've gone through this so many more times than you, and not that you know your house better than me, but at the same time, I've sold many houses. I've been doing this for 12 years. And at the end of the day, I just want to support you, and I want to take off that pressure that you put on yourself, because I have the connections to make it easier and make your transition to your new house easier.
Yeah. And so in you opening up and being vulnerable though, like, how has that helped or hurt your business? I'm just curious, like, how has that changed your interaction with your clients by you being real?
No, I know it makes people feel safe quicker. I feel like they let their guard down
Okay.
quicker, which is
Gotcha.
really, really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I love that. So thank you, obviously, for just being real with us. And I know that you and I could talk for hours and hours, which I wish I had all day with you, by the way. But I
Okay.
would love for you to, I love that you give us this permission to be real.
Mhm.
So we can, I think that I struggle with this either or, black or white, right or wrong perspective a lot more than I want to admit. And what you do is you model to us the and. I
Oh,
get
yeah.
to be professional and real, and I don't have to choose between one or the other because I'm both, right?
Yep.
And I also, though, think too, Alli, that part of the reason I wanted you on this show is because I just am, I don't know, just in mad respect of your resiliency and your ability to just show up and figure it out. And you don't ever let yourself just roll over, and you never let yourself become a victim to what's going on. So, what tips do you have for people out there that are just like, how do I get shit done? Because you do. What do you do? What are some tips you have?
Definitely have your community, have your go-to 3 people, touch base with them when you're feeling in a funk. I think your big ones is to just know that you can do better than you did yesterday. And I think really stop comparing. This is so hard in our society now, but really stop comparing your life to other people, because you don't know what they're going through. You only know what you are going through. And so if you can say, hey, I did better than I did yesterday, or if you just are in like a sad time in your life, just getting up and getting ready and getting out the door, you can give yourself a pat on the back. And I think that we need to do that more often, is just give ourselves praise, because we can easily praise others. But I think it's time for us to really keep carrying ourselves in a positive way and say, hey, you're doing great. I'm proud of you. Proud of you for getting out the door. Good job.
Yeah.
Give yourself a pat on the back. And then
Yeah.
also something else that I think of a lot, and I think that this is why it was hard for me to put my guard down, is many years ago, I think I was in this training with you. There was a coach who was talking about how women really need to put the crowns on their head, or maybe you had that one, but I love tiaras. And actually, LaChelle gave me a tiara just a few months ago. And so it was always about carrying yourself with dignity and grace, but then don't shrug your shoulders or put your head down. Like, you always just need to be positive and have your shoulders up and be kind to other around you. But then, like, I also felt like wearing this crown meant you had to look nice and put together, and your life just needed to be perfect. And so I just felt a lot of responsibility in being a female and just wearing the crown. But you know what? You can wear the crown and you can deal with life at the same time.
You totally can. And I think that's what you do so well. I do that at my retreats. I give away tiaras, and we talk about how the posture of having it, remembering whose we are, right? And allowing ourselves to carry ourselves in a way that the crown doesn't fall off. But that doesn't mean that we can't put a funny feather boa on as we, and be silly and be real as we hold our head up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just a beautiful expression of what the and could look like, that we get to be real and accomplish stuff.
One more thing that I want to share just with the ladies is, if you're feeling in a funk, just go find some fun lipstick, put it on with your outfit, and you're ready to go. It's a new day.
The new day, baby. I know, if you are just listening to the show and not watching, like, I'm wearing bright red lipstick on, and Alli's got an amazing bright color on as well. So it's like, sometimes that's all you need, right? Is just to give yourself a little boost that way. Yeah. Girlfriend, is there anything that we haven't had a chance to dive into that you really want our listeners to hear from you?
You got this. It doesn't matter what you're going through. Several years back, I lost my stepdad, who was literally like my backbone, and that was a hard obstacle. We lost him the year and a half before I had my second baby. So it's just like life kept throwing things at me, but at the same time, you have to show up for yourself and the other people that you care about. So you got this. Air high five.
Air high five. Oh my God, I love that so much. And if you guys are in the Rochester, Minnesota area, you need to make sure that you think about Alli when you're ready to upgrade your life, because she will take care of you in such a way. But girl, I will make sure that people have an opportunity to follow you. So all of your stuff is going to be in the show notes. Alli does some really great, like, real life posts on Instagram, I know, where you just are real. You give some great real estate tips, but you also are like a normal mom who's balancing all of this, and you make me happy just following you and watching you.
Life is fun. I feel super grateful every day.
Awesome. All right, you guys, I hope that you guys had as much fun and inspiration in this episode as I did. Alli, thank you so much. And I will see you guys all on the next episode. Bye, everybody.
Thank you
so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Each honest review helps me spiral up so that I can serve you even better. Whether you're feeling a lack of impact, income, or time freedom, or perhaps you're just ready for massive momentum in your business, let's chat. Apply for a breakthrough call so that you can gain clarity. Identify what's holding you back and make a plan to spiral up. Head on over to im-lifebydesign.com/breakthrough or access the link in the show notes. For immediate support, log into our community, the Better Club. We focus on inspiration, tactical guidance, and support. This is a community that wants to be better, do better, and have better in life and in business, and we're going to help you do the same. Let's spiral up, friends.